Welcome, benvenido, punying, benvenuto. The world is getting ready to be set on fire with the new podcast, Souls of Solidarity, coming to the Mystic 7 Record and Film YouTube channel August 22nd, 2020 at 8 p.m. We're a show where you, as an independent artist, musician, writer, filmmaker, or producer, can have a voice. Whether it be a book, new music, a film, or script you've written, we're there for you. We will cover major social issues, people in business with heartwarming stories. So join us, grab a drink, a joint, or whatever your fancy, and buckle up for the roller coaster ride of the century. Join us to the journey of the center of entertainment. New independent artists, upcoming filmmakers, new and exciting authors share their voices. Again, join us every Saturday after 8 p.m. for Souls of Solidarity.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Souls of Solidarity. Today, we're going to have an interesting show. We're going to be coming to you from Cabo, San Lucas, where I'm down in Mexico. So we're going to kind of head in a different direction this week in terms of entertainment. This week I want to talk about street performers, and next week we'll continue our jazz history series and review the top 5 pianists. And on our new jazz series, what we're going to do is to have we're going to do a countdown each week. So like next week we'll start with number 5, and we'll talk about that artist and give you some information on them and things like that. Then the following week we'll come in with number 4, and we'll tell you what that entails as to who the number 4 top jazz artist is. So if you notice today, I got my Warrior gear on because as I speak, my Warriors are now 11-1, and you know I'm a big Bay Area team Warrior fan, so you know I gotta send out a little shout out to my team and what they're doing. They're looking phenomenal this year. So I don't want to brag or anything, but you know. So anyway, let's get on with our show. As I said, we're coming to you from Cabo, San Lucas, where I've been spending some time enjoying myself and, going over some things, getting some things done and stuff. So, but as I was walking the streets of Cabo and stuff, I noticed that there was a phenomenal, large portion of people who were street performers. And they were all out trying to make a buck. And so I kind of got interested. I wanted to see what this was about. So I started to look at some of the performances. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the street performers and what they do and what they're about so that you can understand them. So next time you see one, you'll be able to say, oh, I heard RaDante talking about them. Why don't I give them some money or a tip or something like that? So anyway, let's start. If you didn't know, street performing acts are as vast and varied as the imaginations of the artists who create them. And with the explosion of the internet and social media, I feel like the creativity of street performers has exploded as well. And the bar has been set even higher as to when I first started seeing street performers. So in the background, different performers will be happening as we talk about these things. But street performing is the end-all, be-all guerrilla art activism. You don't want to wait for the audience to come to you, as you know, a lot of us do, then you bring it to them, right smack dab, bam, in the middle of the sidewalk or wherever you are performing. In order to get a pulse on all this boundless creativity, there are many different types of street performers. And now we'll touch on a few of the main trends that we're seeing in this art form nowadays. Now, street performance, or busking, as some call it, is the act of performing in public places for gratuities. In many countries, the rewards are generally in the form of money, but other gratuities such as food, drink, gifts, may be given. So street performance is practiced all over the world, and it dates back to antiquity. People engaging in this practice are called street performers or buskers in the United Kingdom. Now, buskers is not a term generally used in American English or here in the United States. It's, like I heard about buskers when I started doing research about street performers and stuff. I didn't really know what buskers was. But performance are anything that people find entertaining, including acrobatic, animal tricks, balloon twisting, caricatures, clowning, comedy, contortion, escapeology, dance, singing, fire skills, flea circus, fortune telling, juggling, magic, mime, living statues. As you see, I know when I was used to go down to Fisherman's Wharf, there was a lot of the living statues that would be performing there. And you have musical performances, people do puppeteers, some snake charmers, storytelling, reciting poetry or prose, street arts such as sketching and painting, street theater, sword swallowing, and ventriloquism. While I was even in Cabo, I saw a fire eater, and I was trying to get his video up, but we were having technical difficulties on it, so I may have to show you that at a later date. Anyway, but there's been performances in public places for gratuities in every major culture in the world. I mean, dating back, like I said, to antiquity. For many musicians, street performance was the most common means of employment before the advent of recording and personal electronics. So let me situate it so you can see this picture a little better. Prior to that, a person had to produce any music or entertainment, save for a few mechanical devices such as the barrel organ, the music box, the piano roll. Organ grinders were commonly found busking in the old days, again, as they called it. Busking, it's common among some Romani people. Romantic mention of Romani dancers, music, dancers and fortune tellers are found in all forms of song, poetry, prose and lore. The Roma brought the word busking to England by the way of their travels along the Mediterranean coast to Spain and the Atlantic Ocean, and then up north to England and the rest of the Europe. In medieval France, though, buskers were known by the terms troubadours or jugglers. In northern France, they were known as troubadours. In Old German, buskers were known as Minnesingers and Spiegel. My German's not that good, but Spielleute is how it's spelled. In obsolete French, it evolved to busquer for seek, prowl, and was generally used to describe prostitutes. Now, mariachis, Mexican bands that play a style of music by the same name, frequently busk, when they perform while traveling through streets and plazas, as well as in restaurants and bars. Now, I see those mariachis a lot when I'm in Mexico. They come up to your table and they want to play for you, and they'll play and you can request a song, and they'll play it and you tip them. You give them money, So now I'll go over the various types of performances that I'm aware of. You may have some others that you're aware of that I don't know about, but the statue is one of the performances. Now, this type of performer may paint themselves all in gold or come up with an unusual outfit to appear like a statue. Holding still is the main game, and some statues are even kinetic, moving when prompted by a coin dropped into their hat, or as a surprise as passerbyers move closer to inspect them. Then another performance you have is the one-man band. Now, this performer is a complete orchestra, band, or a cacophony of sound, all emanating from one human with instruments for appendages. This performer impresses the crowd with how many instruments they can play at once and the cleverness of how they've assembled the arrangement. Then you have the flash mob. This type of performance depends on the element of surprise and turns an ordinary restaurant or train station into a full-on organized mounting of a show, often entailing an ensemble of people and advanced planning. The flash mob has been used again and again for not only artistic purposes, but as a marketing tool. Even Oprah staged a flash mob in Chicago with the Black Eyed Peas. I don't know if you remember that or not. Now, another form of entertainment is what they call social experiment. Eye-gazing experiment, anyone? Hugs for free. The social experiment performer is one who typically testing human nature with different kinds of interaction, sometimes comedic, sometimes revealing, sometimes touching, and maybe all three. These have become widely popular over the last 10 years with social media and the internet. And social media is a good way to interact with people, especially if you're a street performer. You can have people go to your site and see some other things that you may like or that you may want them to see. Now, the magician, which is an older form of street performing, which we probably all grew up seeing, or the sleight of hand. Now, it's funny, I hate to say this, I used to do a sleight of hand trick with 3-card Molly. That's how I would win some money. I would be able to use sleight of hand to make them think they saw a card that wasn't there. But anyway, it's one of the oldest games in the world of street performers where where's the money? It is under the shell, or the shell, or this one, the shell game as we call it. Now, this performer engages the passerbyers in a game, and for a moment or a few minutes, the audience gets to lose themselves to their desire for challenge and fascination. And remember now, any magician who does a trick on you, trust me, it's not magic. He has it planned. I used to produce shows up at Harrah's. We used to do shows up there where all these top musicians would come in from Vegas and all over. And I watched them rehearse. And some of my most disappointing moments was knowing how those tricks were, the secret to them. And it's like, is that how it's done? It's like, okay, so it took the mystery out of it. Now, if you don't want to take the mystery out of it, don't look at it, but I know how the missing airplane works. I know how the missing helicopter works. I know how the floating table works. But just remember, it's magic. It's a magician doing this thing, but it is sleight of hand. Now, another one is called quirky talent. If you have do you have a map of the U.S. That when people stand on it, you can tell them their exact zip code? The performer with a quirky talent engages the audience with wonder and leaves them questioning. How did they do that? Again, it's a trick. Now, the solo talented artist, have you ever been graced with a lone flute drifting through the strange station, or a storyteller perched on a bench? Singer-songwriters, violinists, rappers, crooners, tale weavers. Sometimes all an artist needs to do is take themselves out in public and play what they're good at. And that's how a lot of people get discovered, believe it or not. There have been a lot of street artists who have been discovered and have, become known. And then you have what they call the ensemble. That's the breakdancing crews, the barbershop quartets, a band getting their rehearsal on in public. It's awesome to see a group that you can tell has worked together, creating fun and sharing a sneak peek of their show in a public space. Because once you see it, then you're more willing to go buy a ticket to see the whole show, if they're performing somewhere. So, it's a good means of interacting, again, building your fan base and marketing. Now, the one that is another one that comes to mind is called the Community Igniter. It's a drum circle. It's a group that urges passerbyers to pick up an instrument, a salsa band, Lindy hip-hop dancing, These are the performers that blur the line between audience and performer. Everyone is encouraged to become a participant, and the result is a surprise party in the street. So everybody's getting down. Then you have what we call the site-specific work. This is where the performance engages directly with the place where it is performed. Doing a performance in the woods where one of the players climbed down a tree in the middle of a scene, playing music inside a cave using the acoustics of the specific place as an integral part of the piece. This is the specific and can get creative and wildly fun, especially with groups that hang off of buildings like Bandaloo. Every year, the trolley dances in San Francisco are a great example of site-specific work, taking audience members on a journey throughout the city to view different pieces throughout. And this list doesn't even begin to really encompass all of it. So, tell me what you think. Are you ready to take your work outside into the world and get discovered, or, make some money and while you're trying to build, your fan base and audience? A lot of street performers, this is their life. And so next time you see a street performer, take out $1 or 50 cents or whatever, give them a tip, because that's how they make their bread. And their bread is important too. So if you have any questions about this, or want to talk about it, or any street performers that you might want us to focus on, to do an interview with or something, write us, and you can give us a thought about it. Any topics that we cover, we like to share your thoughts or have questions, on subjects we cover. You know where to reach us. We're at Twitter, Mystic 7 Records at Twitter, or follow us on Instagram, Mystic 7 Records at Instagram, and then you can follow me, RaDante Keys. Yes, you can follow me on Instagram. Additionally, you can also go to our website, www.mystic7records.com, and check out our links for any shows you missed, and check out our merchandise. Also, hit that subscribe button and become part of our family. Stop hesitating and do it, because it's important, because you know how much we love you. And then join us every week again, after 8 p.m. for another episode of Souls of Solidarity, where we'll take you on the journey of the center of entertainment. And you know what it is with me. It's all about love. So there you have it for this week. As I said, we're going to be cutting our show shorter because we realize your attention span only goes so far. So I don't want to drag on about things. And I leave you once again with these 3 words. I've always had love for you. I've always had prosperity, and I've always had solidarity. So I'll see you once again, and I'm going to leave you out with this show with scenes from Cabo so you can get the beauty of Cabo. And if you're ever down there, come and join me down there. I'm going to be spending a lot of time down there. That is my second home. So, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and I'll join you in Cabo for a drink or something. We'll even have a tequila, even though I can't stomach it sometime, but I'll do it once or twice. So anyway, I'm out.